Hello, bookish friends. My name is Gail, and I am the fiction bookworm. So today, I am going to give you a short little report about Ayesha at Last, and this was the first book that I read in December, and I wanted to show you the unboxing of the book gifts. This was a Once Upon a Book Club book that I read, and let's go watch that. Hi, so I am working on my unboxing for the unboxing part of Ayesha at Last, which was a June book box for Once Upon a Book Club, but I just read it actually this month. So I wanted to share with you the gifts because they are really cool and they relate to the story. So the first gift is on page 1, and this is where Khalid first talks about seeing Ayesha, and he sees her go to her car with a red coffee mug and her satchel, and here we have a red mug which has a quote by Mrs. Darcy. She says, "Completely and perfectly and incandescently happy." So this is a Pride and Prejudice reference and a very cool little coffee mug. It's a ceramic mug with this little silicone top. So I'm really excited about that. And then if we go to page 197 is next. And I won't give away too much of the plot, but there is a point at which Khalid gives Ayesha a gift, and this is it's a blue bound journal, and in the story, Khalid has a matching journal, so it's probably not a Pride and Prejudice journal, but I love how they played on the blue journal from the book in giving this particular journal, because it is themed on a historic cover of Pride and Prejudice. You can see here it says illustrated by Hugh Thompson, so this is like a famous Pride and Prejudice cover with a little quote on the back. It says, "I cannot fix on the hour or the spot or the look or words which laid the foundation. It is too long ago. I was in the middle before I knew that I had begun." So this is really cute. It's a really nice journal. And even in the front cover, I can't believe that they did this. They have this little handwritten inscription from Khalid to Ayesha. Very cute. And then on page 272, there is a letter that Khalid writes Ayesha. If you have read Pride and Prejudice and other Jane Austen novels, you know that there is quite often a letter. And so I love how the author continued on her homage to Pride and Prejudice by including a letter from Khalid to Ayesha. And then the last gift is a little thumb drive that has a video that appears in the story, and the video, they made the video and they put it on this little thumb drive that you can plug into your computer and watch the video. And it also is a Pride and Prejudice cover, which is really cute. It says, and the quote on there by Mr. Darcy is, "You have bewitched me body and soul." So very cute. I will probably use that, I think. And finally, the quote card for this month is, "I must learn to be content with being happier than I deserve." So very cute. I love how they did it like a book checkout card. So a really outstanding job on the gifts this month. I was very impressed by Once Upon a Book Club. Really perfect gifts. So I'll talk more about the book. Okay, so now we are back, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the plot of the book as a Jane Austen Pride and Prejudice tribute. So one of the interesting things about this particular book is at the end of the book, there is a little guide to all of the Shakespeare quotes, which I thought was kind of funny, that the author spends time talking, indexing all the Shakespeare quotes when the book itself is sort of a tribute to Pride and Prejudice. So the main character, Ayesha's grandfather, is a former English professor, and so he quotes Shakespeare all the time. So she left a little guide about that. And it isn't really, I think the author, and I would agree that this isn't a Pride and Prejudice retelling. And so it isn't like a modern day version of Pride and Prejudice. It's really a tribute book. And so there are certain things that she has taken out of the Pride and Prejudice story, and she has just paid tribute to Pride and Prejudice through that. There are certain like key scenes in Pride and Prejudice that were sort of, that really actually fit very well with the Muslim culture that she's writing about in this particular book. You know, some of the things about, you know, the behaviors. So the idea of the book is that there's two main characters, of course, Ayesha and Khalid, and they are both living in this culture as Muslim people where, you know, their families want to arrange marriages, very much like, you know, early 19th century England, where the parents were very involved in making sure that their children were all married. Like that's the main topic of Pride and Prejudice, is finding husbands for all of the daughters. And so the family structures are very different. They don't really resemble Pride and Prejudice very much at all. The major sort of, there's a couple of major plot lines that are very similar in that Khalid and Ayesha both have a little bit of pride and prejudice towards each other, very much the way Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy do. There is a little plot that involves, I would say, a sort of Mr. Wickham character, and that has been also included in the book. There are several key scenes. I showed you the letter that Khalid wrote, which is often a feature in Jane Austen novels. So there's similarities, and there are key parts of the novel that the author, Uzma Jalaluddin, used to pay tribute to Pride and Prejudice, but she isn't retelling the story at all. It really is its own unique story. I really loved the story. It was a great glimpse into sort of modern Muslim family life, you know, with the, you know, the issues that both Khalid and Ayesha are dealing with regard to marriage expectations by their parents, their own desires for marriage, their family pressures, and, you know, Khalid has grown up with a sister who was forced to leave the family because of her behavior, and so she had gone back to India and was married there, and he hasn't seen her in like 8 years. And because of this, Khalid becomes because his sister was just kind of, you know, had decided to live more of a wild lifestyle as a teenager and kind of rejected some of the teachings of Islam regarding her behavior. Khalid kind of went the other way, and he became very devout and very strict. And he faces a little bit of religious pressure and persecution in his workplace because of that. And, you know, they also have Ayesha trying to figure out, you know, what she wants to do with her life. She, you know, she kind of wanted to be a teacher, but she didn't really like that. What she really wants to do is just write poetry. You know, she doesn't want to be married unless she can find a man that she's going to love. You know, she hasn't really been interested in having a match set up for her. So there are lots of really interesting insights into the culture, and trying to, you know, for Ayesha and Khalid to figure out, how do I be sort of a modern not modern isn't the word, but how do I live my life the way I want to live it, but at the same time still adhere to the tenets of my religion. So I really love the book, and I really encourage you to read it. I think it was really good. I'm always nervous when I hear about Pride and Prejudice retellings, or any kind of retelling of a classic story. But this was a really good one. I really liked it. And I've been on a little bit of a Jane Austen themed readathon lately. I read an advanced reader copy of a Jane Austen related novel right before I read Ayesha at Last. And that is called the Jane Austen Society. And that book doesn't actually come out until I think April or May of next year. And I'm currently reading another Jane Austen related advanced reader copy that comes out in March of next year. And I'm hoping to start Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors by Sonali Dev as well. I want that to be one of the next books that I read. So I'm hoping to do at the end of this month a little bit of a Jane Austen themed video when I talk about all 4 of those books and what I think about them and how they relate. So I hope that you enjoyed hearing a little bit about Ayesha at Last. I hope that you pick it up and read it. It was really good. The steam level, because of the religious faith of the characters, was 0. It was very sweet, very romantic, but for anyone who doesn't like, to have too much steam in their novels, there's none of that. So it was very much like a Pride and Prejudice novel. Lots of romantic things, but without being sexual at all. So it was very sweet. I hope that you read it, and I hope that you have a good week. Thanks for watching, and enjoy reading. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. See you next time.